And welcome back. Well, yesterday, GRF had their regular board meeting. It ran about 3 hours and 5 minutes for the open session. Today with us is the board president, John Parker. Good to see you, sir.
Good morning, Ken.
Nice to have you on. And not a real long meeting yesterday as far as the open session. I don't know about the closed session, but
that wasn't bad either.
Good.
Well, not fortunately, but letters were, usually we have to deal with compliance issues in closed session. And the letters got sent out and it said July 4th.
Oh, okay.
And so that didn't work. So we had no compliance cases.
Oh, well,
so we
that's
actually
good.
got out of there pretty quick yesterday.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of nice.
A record almost.
Yes,
yeah.
Very good.
Doesn't happen very often.
Well, I know there's a few things you want to touch on from yesterday.
Okay, first of all, and this didn't have to do with our meeting, but I think the 4th of July event that was put on by management, and you know, we complimented the recreation department, and
are you dancing there?
No,
okay.
no. There's no visual image of me dancing. But in addition to the recreation department, of course, it involved security, it involved general services. There were a lot of golf course employees, so it was a massive effort. But for a first-time event, I think they did a spectacular job, and the fireworks were first class.
Oh,
I mean, there was
nice.
Absolutely as good as any community in the area.
That's fantastic.
And so kudos to those people. Who
obviously, they were better than where I live, where we got doused by water. So our fireworks ended after a few minutes.
Yeah. The other thing I want to mention is that the United bylaw election ballots have been sent to all United Mutual residents, and it's really important, and I'm a United resident, that you vote on those ballots and return them. That represents hours and hours and hours of a committee that went word by word through the bylaws to update them. And there's a good explanatory letter by the United attorney, and also the cost of the mailing in those elections, which is dictated by law how it's done, is not an insignificant thing. So I think it's really important that people take the time to return the ballot.
Yeah, definitely.
And then starting today, the Performing Arts Center architects, SVA group, are interviewing different groups. They're all scheduled at different times. And for 3 days, various people who use the Performing Arts Center are being interviewed by the architects to get their input. And I'll be going this afternoon to sit in on some of those. And then this is prior to them drawing a line on paper.
Right.
So they're getting the feedback from the users, and then once they come up with their preliminary designs, you know, not working drawings, there'll be another opportunity where there'll be a big meeting and anybody can have input. But and this is the method that you know, one of the reasons we selected them.
Yeah, and I know Judith has come on and talked about that extensively, the different phases that may or may not to go through, just depending on what is decided. And yesterday at the meeting, she went down the list of the different clubs and their times to come in and meet with the architects. So a lot of involvement.
Yeah. Then one thing that happened yesterday in our closed session, we actually had an item on our closed agenda that was determined that it was not appropriate that it be in closed session. So we have created a special meeting which will occur. It'll get out in the schedule, but I just want to mention it this morning. It will be on July 13th, 10 a.m. in the boardroom, and it's regarding the pickleball situation.
Oh, okay.
And so anybody that's interested in the pickleball, paddle tennis situation, that meeting is going to be discussing that. And that will be, of course, in the schedule, but we only made that decision yesterday afternoon, so I want people to be aware that there will be such a meeting on the 13th.
Okay.
There's another meeting on the afternoon of the 13th, which is also of great interest, because we're going to be discussing fees.
Okay.
You know, and the fees that we charge for the use of various GRF.
And that covers everything from the golf fees to the
RV parking.
exactly.
You know, room rentals, etc. And staff will be doing a presentation on their thoughts on that.
Okay.
And we'll be making some decisions. So that's an important meeting.
Yeah, definitely.
For those people that get all excited about those sorts of things.
Yeah, both of those. I mean,
Yes.
the pickleball people are going to be at least happy that you're talking about this. And
well,
and I know that
my my term ends November 8th, and I want ground turned before November
Yes.
8th on that project.
and that pad is scheduled to be right out here. Yeah.
Correct.
Very good.
And then we did a couple of things that involve this
Yes,
facility
exactly.
here. First of all, you are now Village Television.
Right.
There's no more Channel 6.
Right.
Although it's going to take time to
Yeah,
phase it
we'll
out.
come up with a new logo and all that.
But
yes.
the official name of our television station is now Village Television.
Right.
And we had tried VTV and found out that there is a Vietnamese television.
Oh, okay. I
And,
didn't know that.
Yeah, our attorneys did a search.
Okay.
So we're going with Village Television, and one of
Okay.
the next things that'll happen is developing a new logo and
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Great.
And then the other thing that affects this, there was an appropriation in the 2017 business plan that appropriated $60,000 for cameras to be installed in Clubhouse 5.
Right.
High definition cameras.
Yes.
And that project is functioning, thanks to work of both volunteers and staff.
Right.
And it was done for about half the price. So what we are doing is we're taking back the residual left from that 60 and reappropriating it for use here in the studio for upgrades in the studio.
Right.
So
Yeah,
those are
very
two
nice.
items that affect this facility that we dealt with yesterday. And then we entered into a contract, a 5-month contract with a firm who is going to monitor social media.
Right, exactly.
And that's
Yes.
primarily Facebook and YouTube. And we're doing a lot in that area, and we've had an employee who has a very, very wide range of responsibilities that just hasn't been able to
Right.
give that the
Yeah.
kind of attention it needs. And statistically, there's 6,000 users of Facebook in the village,
Yeah, you mentioned that yesterday.
and
yes.
they typically do it 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So that's a third of our population. And
Yeah, it's a lot of members. Yeah.
And we're doing more and more with YouTube. All of our meetings go directly onto YouTube.
Right.
So while some people don't think it's important, and when we were initially proposed this, we were proposed the 5 months plus the next year. And we made the decision, well, let's try the 5 months and see how
Right.
that works before we commit to a year.
And you
another year.
mentioned yesterday that one of the advantages of doing this, contracting out to an outside company, is that they have folks there who do this every day.
No, it's a task that requires focus.
Yes,
And it can't just be one of many duties.
Right.
So
Exactly.
we'll see how it goes. And then we also passed the fact that anybody that's going to run for a board position, either United, Third, or GRF, currently when you run for any one of those boards, you get an application and you fill out a candidate statement. And what we're doing is we're making a video statement.
Right.
So we're in coordinating with Paul Ortiz, the station manager. There will be a schedule where candidates can come, be filmed, and it's just a film. It's not an interview.
Right, exactly.
And then those will be grouped together so that they'll be several times shown on Village Television, the slate of candidates and their statements.
Right.
And what we're trying to
That's nice,
do
yeah.
is just make people who choose to run for the board better known to the people who will vote for
Right.
them. And so that there's going to be less of a need for individuals to have to spend funds
Yeah,
to run
exactly.
for office.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that'll be great because
Yeah.
in the past it's been done many different ways. So this way it'll be much more cohesive, and as you said, people will know where to go and look at these candidates and see them all in a row and make their decisions. Yeah.
And this was really the brainchild of Joan Millman, and she kind of pushed it through. So glad she did it.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we, you know, anybody that's followed what's been going on in the village for a few years, we've had issues with the creek.
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
And 14 governmental agencies can tell us what to do in the creek.
Right.
So we've been working with those agencies, and we recently, within the last few months, actually found out, after all this time, of the existence of something called mitigation credits.
Right.
And these are very much like the carbon credits that airlines and industry and so on. And so yesterday we approved the purchase of mitigation credits. And in addition to that, we also approved the necessary structural repairs that need to be done to the bridge as a result of the winter storms. And so we feel that this is going to give us greater decision-making ability over our facility. Because essentially, I think Catherine freshly used the word.
She explained it very well.
She did, but we're paying them off.
Basically, yes.
And, you know, and so that's an opportunity that has presented itself, and we hope that it will be the final solution. Yeah,
and as she said, I thought she explained it very well. This is of the nature of things, how they're done, just like the carbon credits. It's the same thing.
So that I think is significant.
Yeah.
One of the other things that we dealt with yesterday is a naming policy.
Yes.
There has been an attitude in the village that you shouldn't put a plaque on anything, you know, in memory of someone, or that we would become a memorial park.
Right.
And we have made a decision that GRF will allow that to occur, and in conjunction with that, to create a task force, which in essence will create a list of opportunities so that people who would choose to donate, that based on certain different amounts, these are things where you could have name recognition for a donation. So the naming is what we passed yesterday in the formation of a task force. What is going to happen totally separate and will not involve any board action, because it cannot, to deal with the IRS, is we're hoping to create an entity that would allow individuals or groups to make donations that would have a tax deduction ability. And but they're separate, and they need to be separate.
Right, exactly.
And what our goal is here is that we have the opportunity, like Saddleback Hospital, like Saddleback College, practically any college, university, municipality, anywhere, is a process by which someone can donate with recognition and a tax deduction.
So you have to set that up separately, even though it's called the Golden Rain Foundation. You have to set up a different one. Is that correct?
There will not be a Golden Rain Foundation.
Right. That's what I mean. They'll be totally separate.
And our goals and purpose are in no way in conflict with our existing foundation. And as you know, we have people on our board and other boards that are highly involved with the foundation. And one of our first discussions was that it was not our intention in any way to be in competition.
Okay. And once this is set up, you will have, I know people have mentioned yesterday and beyond, whether it's naming the Performing Arts Center, which would be huge, or down to a park bench, you'll have different levels that people can become involved in.
Well, for instance, Mayor Hatch of the city of Laguna Woods, a Laguna Woods Village resident, donated a beautiful painting to Clubhouse 6. And we couldn't put under past policy, we could not put a recognition little plaque on that
Right.
saying that it was donated by Mayor Hatch.
Yeah.
And now we could. So that's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
And our architects on the Performing Arts Center, one of their, I mean, buying seats in a Performing Arts Center is that's how they all do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
we hope that's one of the reasons we want to get it set up, because I think that we can create an opportunity where people can have a sense of involvement in that project at the same time reducing the ultimate cost.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Okay, the Village Greens 19 restaurant. That's I think it's 6 years old now.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
So it's getting a little tattered, a little bit of yesterday's rose. So we engaged the services of an interior designer. We're using someone that we selected when we did Clubhouse 2,
Right.
who is very gifted with fabrics. She's just got a real good feel. And she's also worked in facilities where the fabrics have to be really durable. So anyway, we appropriated enough money that there'll be new chairs in the dining room. All of the exterior patio furniture will be reupholstered.
Okay.
And there's a fair amount of open storage being accomplished in the dining room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's actually, we're creating cabinetry to deal with some of the storage issues, so that'll present then there's going to be a considerable amount of cleaning, painting, that sort of thing. So kind of a fluff
Right.
on the 19.
People mentioned, you know, the relationship. We're not going to go into the past, but the fact that it is a GRF facility.
Oh yeah.
So
See,
and the company is contracted as a lessee.
The company is contracted to serve food.
Right.
It is not their responsibility for the furniture.
Yeah.
It's their responsibility to maintain it at a certain level of sanitation.
Right.
But I think we have the janitorials, we do the janitorial. So it's our facility, it's our responsibility.
Right, exactly.
And one last...
And you mentioned the fabrics, which I recall at the grand reopening of Clubhouse 2, I spoke to you about that. You were mentioning, look at the beautiful fabrics here. They look great, but you know what? They're designed to last a long time.
Well, some of them you could actually take them outside and hose them off. They're that durable.
Yeah,
and some
that's great.
Some of them are capable of being cleaned with bleach.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So, and they're woven to a tighter density. I mean, there's different grades.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned a bit when we did that about fabric. And one last thing is we are buying a small vacuum sweeper that I believe is going to ultimately mean that the carports are cleaned more efficiently and that they're also going to be cleaned more frequently. And we've taken the landscape used to blow out the carports, and then general services ran the sweeper.
Right.
And what has happened is now one division is responsible for carport cleaning. And the beauty of the new management is that they're almost looking at everything and saying, this is how we're doing it. Could it be better?
Right, exactly.
And this is just, it'll take time.
Yeah, definitely.
But ultimately, there will be a difference.
Yeah, that'll be nice. Is that, do you know yet, is that a ride-along vacuum?
Yes, there is an operator that rides it, and then it has, it also has an attachment, so if by driving he can't get exactly where he wants to get, there's like a hose where he can manually, get off the thing and get a certain area and then jump back on and do it. And no addition in personnel. It's powered by propane, so it's clean.
Yeah.
And my assumption is there's going to be a lot less dust.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Because I know I've just had my car washed when they decided to clean the carports.
Yes. Nicely covered in dust afterwards, right?
And I think I think that's pretty much what we dealt with.
Yeah, as I said, it was a pretty fast meeting yesterday, and we're going to show it again. Being that it was yesterday, because of the holiday, we're going to show it to you again today. If you're watching us in the morning or midday, it'll be on at 1:30 again this afternoon. So if you'd like to watch that and tune in, and you can hear all about this. And of course, we'll let everyone know next week about the special meeting with the architect planners for, it's the 13th, am I right?
The 13th is on pickleball.
Oh, pickleball, excuse me, that's right.
No, the special meetings with groups actually start today.
Okay.
And those groups have been notified.
Okay, so they already know
Those are
that.
not open meetings.
Okay.
Those are by invitation.
All
And
right.
the invitations.
And then eventually you'll get to an
Once
open meeting.
after all of this
Okay.
input, when they actually do some preliminary designs, there will be the presentation of that and another opportunity, and that will be input from anybody.
Okay,
So.
very good. Thank you, sir, for coming
you,
on. We
Ken.
appreciate it. Good to see you as always, and we'll be right back.